Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As
Woo!
with you always, this is Max and Will doing a live video today on XRP.
XRP.
How you doing today, Will?
I'm doing so good, man. I can't stand it.
Awesome.
Thanks for asking. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Not too shabby. Um, we're gonna obviously welcome some of you guys. Hello, hello. Is it me you're looking for? Lionel Richie. So with that said, we're going to welcome some of you guys, and then we're going to get into what we have. As you can see, what's tagged or not tagged. I kind of messed up on not tagging the Hbar and Jasmy ones, but we're going to talk about XRP with Will Fix, and then we're going to get into some Hbar and Jasmy. Obviously, Will is on limited time when it comes to Tuesdays, so the Hedera Jasmy segment will just be with me. But nonetheless, please smash the like if you haven't done so already, and let's welcome the communities. So we'll start off with the Will Fix side of things. And Will, do you see that tab? You want to welcome some of these guys from your side? Or would you like me
I'm
to just
getting
go
on
through
there
it?
right now. I'm
Okay.
opening up this channel. There we go. There we go. Now I just listen to myself. Let me mute. All right. He's ready. Wall Street Oracle, XRP, Jasmy. Yep, come on. We like them both. Let's see. It's all cool and stuff for Jasmy selling a product, secure PC, but the transactions are in fiat. It doesn't change nothing for the crypto token. Hopefully, it's being used in the future. Show no. Michael Atkins, what's up, sir? From Kentucky. Hey, another Southern boy. Awesome. Fish grease. I'm here for this. What's up, fellas? All right, we have fish grease. There's probably a story behind that name. Game Simmer. Hello, fellas. Reaching out from Sudbury, Ontario. Did I say that? Sudbury?
I don't know.
Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. Huh. And Mark William from the UK. What's up, sir?
Well, welcome to all you guys.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
also welcome some of you guys from the Maximus Crypto side of things. And we are going to welcome, um, let's see here. Let's welcome Mr. Dinu. He says, super ready. Brittany, good to see you. Ms. Brittany. Tim Shea, who says, hey, inspiration from far away. Have everybody hitting the DECK representing the 589th district of the XRP Army, his fellow constituents. Mr. Tim Shea, Mayor Crypto Commissioner. Good to see you, man. We also have Half Dan DeBlack, a.k.a. Mr. Ur. We have Jack Thompson. Shalom. Right back at you, man. Crypto Wealth and perfect health to everyone. Max, Will, thank you for all the work you do and the smart cryptarians of this channel. We also have Denny's got a statement. I'm on different channels and landed in one that they're talking to reach the 200,000 Hbar goal. They were talking about a $1 to $5 maximum price of Hedera. How can it be that low if it will be used a lot? Maybe you got to keep in mind, as a content creator, some of these guys try to protect themselves, so they lowball it big time. And I can't blame them because every single time, if we don't hit certain goals, then people, I'm not saying it from our community, but maybe a little bit, right? There's going to be a random person. They're going to want to point the fingers. Oh, I didn't reach this. So by lowballing something fierce, it just kind of makes a safety net. I can relate to that. I always tell people it's not financial advice anyway, and I am entitled to opinion. Also, Dinu says he's still puzzled on how the future will go with these projects. How will the share the market will not survive in the future? I want to state this. So, Dingy, earlier you were giving an example about, for instance, fiat and Jasmy, and you're like, what's the whole point of this whole crypto thing, right? If it's like we're not seeing like the purpose of these particular tokens being executed. I have a great visual that'll be in the Jasmy coverage of the night that will literally show you utility and motion and how that looks. It's so basic, and when you look at it, you're like, why are we overthinking this? Stay tuned to that. Let's also welcome Gerald. Good to see you, man. Sorry to get a chance to read your comment last night. Congratulations on quitting fast food last night. That's amazing. You said that you lost 70 pounds. You got 50 to go. Hey, man, you got me beat. That
Someone
is so
quit
cool.
fast food last night and lost 70 pounds. They must be eating a lot.
He announced it like, that's funny. I just want to acknowledge Gerald. We also got Johnny Gucci. Will is dropping deuces, counting extra piece. I heard about something about that. I have to check that video. That's
I know,
crazy stuff.
I took it off, because I put up 3 videos and then my main video wasn't getting seen. And I was like, they think I'm just turning turds into XRP. So me and Max and I was on the phone this morning and I said, if people skipped a meal, I said, if people skipped a meal, they could put that money on XRP. I said, you could spend $100 on a meal and turn it into a turd. That's all you ever do. I said, and Max started laughing like, the laugh where it takes him away. And
A little bit, yeah.
he said, yeah, he said, you're dropping that off in the liquidity pool. And I said, well, I mean, really, that's what's happening to it, right? I mean, but we get worried when we put $100 in it and it drops to 80, and then we're all upset, but we'll flush that other $100 down the toilet and never think about it. So if we actually pinch a corner, not a turd, because they're tapered, so you don't
Oh
just
my
slam
goodness.
shut, right? I know, we're just talking crap. But anyway, I put that video up and there was some reaction to it. Sometimes I think it's funnier, but because I'm not laughing in the video, I wonder what people are thinking. They're like, is he serious? Because it's a serious thing, but it's supposed to be a joke too.
Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna read just a couple more comments because I mean, we're not gonna do like 15 minutes because
Looky
sometimes people
there.
don't like it. Yeah, your
There's
wife
a
is here.
beautiful woman right there. Name's
There's your
Anne Marie
wife.
Fix. She's got the same name as me.
I would hope so.
Wow.
That's usually how it works. Hello, Anne Marie. Glad to have you here. Is Anne Marie we're looking for? Lionel Richie. It's an old thing we used to say. Anyway. But yeah, glad to have Anne Marie here. We have River. Have a lot of you guys. Mikey G. Let's read this. Hey guys, great discussions as always. Need to know more on Jasmy. Absolutely. You're very welcome, Mr. Gerald. We're also going to welcome Nick Hill Plouf or Plouf, if I pronounce that right. Might be French. I apologize. It's Plouf de Marcelly. I know you guys don't say it like that anyway. And let's see, Jim Miller. Hello, Max and Will and everyone. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. Thank you, Jim, though. Good to see you. Good to see you. Adam Atkins, Wade T's in the house. Scrooge McDoge. What a name. Justice from Gulf Shores, Alabama. Thank you, guys. You're very welcome. Simon Greco. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, we're going to get into what we have. Mark William, all you guys. Game Simmer, thank you for being here. We're going to start off with that Ripple XRP for you. Obviously, that's the main topic that we get into in regards to especially like Tuesdays. I guess you could say Thursdays as well with Will.
Hey,
so we're gonna pull that up. What's up?
Like this says we got about 35, 38 over here watching,
Mm-hmm.
but only the people who make comments show up. Is that right?
That's correct.
Aha. So if you want us to say hello, then that's what you do, guys. You make a comment. I was wondering about that. I was like, well, I don't see 35.
Yeah, so like on your side, there's 19 over on Maximus Crypto. There's 31, and then the combined total is 70 right now, which is pretty good. As time goes by, more people show up.
I'm seeing 39 on my side.
Let me see. I had to refresh it. You got 38. My bad. How dare you say there's only 19, right? All right. Yeah. I also meant to welcome Mr. Z. Good to see you, man, and Glitching in the Matrix. So we're also going to, get back into what we have because we got to get some things going on. Excuse me. It is your Ripple's XRP. Let me pull that up. trying to put the branding on. Kind of helps with the coverage. People like that, to see on the not only on the timestamp, but like right there, what you see right there. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then on top of that, we got all of it going on. All right, so we're gonna jump into the latest news. Two main pieces that we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into the first one. I want to thank Henry Brown for the sideline reporting. He basically shared this earlier, which is super cool. Shout out to Henry Brown. He might not be here tonight, but nonetheless, we do appreciate the sideline reporting from him. And here it is. It's basically from payments. Now, you know that we have the whole payments partnership in regards to Ripple's XRP. And let's go ahead and just get to the top part of this. So Fedwire, if you weren't aware of it, basically will get boost from ISO 2022 and data-rich messaging. Now, there is this interview here. It's 20 minutes. You're more than welcome to look into it and watch the full thing for yourself. In fact, I'm going to drop it into the comments. It will show up on both channels. It will look like it's from me on Maximus Crypto, and it'll look like it's from WellFix on his channel. Now, I want to actually encourage you to watch it. I wasn't able to just get to certain segments that you guys like. But nonetheless, we're going to get into this article for a second because it has some things that are very worth, pointing out. So for one, everything that, like a lot of us have been talking about, as you guys know, been doing these shows for, I guess this coming April will be like 2 years. So about a year and a half, roughly. Been talking about some of these things. Some people say it's speculative. This, if anything, proves that it's not speculation anymore. What exactly do I mean? Well, when you get into this, you will see some things that are brought up here. Number one, Fedwire service continues to gain adherence, and promise to transform just that, payments. In fact, I'm going to blow this up a little bit bigger for you guys that are on your couch. You can see a lot easier. It goes on to this part right here. ISO 2022, the data-rich messaging standard, moves through a staggered implementation schedule across the global stage. We're starting to see that. A lot of you guys are paying attention, obviously, to November 19th. This lady, who, if you choose to watch that video that was dropped in the comments, her name is Laura Sullivan. She's a senior product manager at Form 3. She said that Fedwire is poised for its own transformation. Now, getting more into this, look what it states. Fedwire operates as a real-time gross settlement system. Payments that flow through the system are settled immediately with a bank's Federal Reserve account and are, I can't pronounce that today. Sorry about that. The single biggest thing that ISO 222 will do for Fedwire is align it with many other payment systems around the world. So anybody who was stating that there won't be anything with Fedwire, I think we should basically, let's just shut that off because that's a closed basket, deal, if you will. She also noted, quote, there's a fairly significant portion of Fedwire volume that either originates or ends up overseas. Most of these payments flow through SWIFT. We do know about that. We know that SWIFT for a while has supported the ISO 222 standard. Ripple as XRP was the first to announce that. Getting more into this is what I want to point out, and that is something I've been talking about for a while, and that is how it says that when banks started the new SWIFT messages through ISO, there were some additional false declines because additional data tied to the address lines or other information was triggered by, for instance, sanctions. But that only represents certain countries. So we know that for the bigger conglomerate, it's not something worth pointing out too much. How about this part? It says, by the end of 2025, I would put a lot of focus on 2025, the city and country will be required to be in precise fields, which, as simple as it sounds, Sullivan acknowledged is a vast improvement over long-standing practices. Talks about this migration has really gone surprisingly smoothly. That's great news for you if you're a Ripple holder or any of the stuff tied to ISO 222, Stellar, XLM, all this stuff. And the banks have handled it well. I'll read this for a second as well. No fear of dropping data. Will Fix always talks about, XRP drops. Kind of funny how that's mentioned. Look at this. Being able to transport data without fear of dropping that data or having it to wedge into fields that aren't really fit for a purpose will benefit Fedwire. In addition, the standardization of data flows will streamline messaging. Always funny how they word the terminology. Japan introduced what's called data free flow with trust, and that is the regulatory framework for Japan introduced into Europe and also used as their template here in the United States. But of course, we changed the name. Historically, requests for payments, known as drawdowns in Fedwire terminology, requests have been returned, the money, I should say, but not have gotten response. But with ISO 222 in place, there are specific message types that can be used to respond. I want Will Fix to chime in here in a bit, but I want to state this. I've been saying this for the longest time. I always use that Bank of Greece to Bank of Korea example. I don't want to elaborate so much on it, but this gives you example in writing from people who are well connected of how that was actually a thing. And that is this right here. She states that you have the instance where message types are used to respond, and that basically speaking, how it used to be is that banks would have to continue to send up following message to ask what's going on with the payment. Now, for you and I in retail, it's always been a case of it don't really matter that much because it's small money. But for big money, trillions being moved, like 10 trillion plus, we have seen examples. Brad Garlinghouse mentioned it last year, that if you send a cross-border payment or overseas payment, $10 trillion, the central banks will get hit with a fee of about $60 billion. That's a lot of money. That's why they don't want to, transfer all this money. Follow-up messages have to be required in regards to it. Multiple follow-up messages. ISO 222 takes that out of the equation because you no longer have to do the follow-up messages. So with that said, Mr. Will Fix, would you like to chime in regards to this? I think this verifies all that speculation that people just didn't know about for sure.
Yeah, this reminds me of the clawback feature. It's not talking about a clawback, but for our payment systems, I've sent money to India before, and it didn't settle for a few days, and turned out I needed to get that money back. And so my credit card company said, "Hey, no problem," because it hadn't even actually settled yet. In the digital world, had to invent something, so they invented a clawback feature because the system's already people are used to it taking days, and so it's kind of built into how they already operate. There was another thought here too. Yeah, there's a lot of questions about if it takes 3 seconds to settle, then the money's not going to be in the system long. So how is the price going to go up? But that's a little bit of a misnomer because it takes 3 seconds to get there. But if a bank is making, so imagine if you will, imagine if you will that you're receiving a $10 billion payment. Are you just going to process it immediately, take it right out into cash? It's verified and everything. Well, but what if you're going to send money the next day somewhere? Well, then are you going to cash it all, turn it into whatever your fiat currency is, and then have to go and do an additional task of getting some XRP to do what you're going to send tomorrow? So there was people asking in that situation, Max. They were asking me, well, how's it ever going to build up? Well, all of the money is not going to just be out of the system and just in there 3 seconds. There's large accounts in these, was it Vostro accounts? There's large amounts of money for the purpose of settling transactions. That part's not going to go away. It's just going to be large amounts of XRP to settle transactions. So they don't have to do additional work. They're going to have a pile of it there to send, receive, and be fishing maybe out of the same bucket. But they're not going to just have 0 XRP, wait until they need a transaction, go and buy some and send it, and it's over in 3 seconds. That's not how that's going to work. And I'll tell you a couple reasons to back that up. Can I throw this in, Max?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to use the example of a refill, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I want you guys to understand in layman's terms, because I understand some of this is Greek to you. You hear Nostra Vostra. Just to put it in layman's terms real quick, and I'll kick it back to Will. And that is, Picture going to like a fast food joint, like Taco Bell or something like that. You want to get a free refill, right? So, your cup, your glass, whatever you want to call it. In that case, it would be a plastic jug or whatever. You're like, you're thirsty. You want to get a refill. Well, you go to the Taco Bell employee. They give you a new refill. Look at Nostra Vostra to a sense in that same kind of light. The banks that have these Nostra Vostra accounts, they need that liquidity, or I should say the on-demand liquidity. It needs to be refilled, and it continuously needs to be refilled. If it's not refilled, then you have banking crises and stuff like that. Can you imagine, again, with the banks, if they would have had a solution like ODL? I know it's called Ripple Payments, guys, but let's just say ODL, on-demand liquidity, that would have been game changer back in 2007 to 2010 and so on. So that's the only example I want people to picture is, from the layman's point of view, just to be able to visualize how that works. But back to you, man. Thank you.
I was good. Yeah. And really the question inside that question is the answer. When someone's concerned and they're like, well, won't that cause tremendous volatility? It's in there for a second, shoots the price up. It's down there after 3 seconds. And then, if another bank during the time the price was higher did a transaction, but then that 3-second transaction, that money dumps out, then this money, yes, wouldn't that be terribly irresponsible? So kind of hidden in that question is the answer. You can know it's not going to be that way because these people that thought up how to do this definitely thought about how to create stability. Now, I personally believe they're going to create a stability based on what the averages are for every day. Then, see, to create stabilization, you can't have the value of the coin be right on edge, and you can't have it be, you can't have it be at the lowest possible, because that's an instability factor. Because what would happen is suddenly you have, just by a random act of weirdness, several banks do ginormous transactions, and then you crash a system and there's no liquidity. No, so that would be irresponsible. So it's not set up that way. It's not going to work that way. They're going to overinflate the price. They're going to inflate the price past what it needs to be to accommodate where, since all of the transactions don't take place in a dead even style, they just go with a yearly amount, that they're not going to just put the average and then be surprised like, oh, well, we didn't think about that. They're a little smarter than the average bear. So the tools that they're going to have to create stability are going to be the same type of tools that you see working inside of exchanges, where there's an algorithm that knows what's going on as far as momentum. They're going to be able to anticipate some momentum, and they're going to be able to adjust factors by not adding brand new coins, unless that becomes absolutely necessary, but inflating the price of XRP. And they're not going to want it to be unstable, because then the value is changing, and you got the same problem. In that case, you would have the same problem you have now with fluctuating currencies. So what they're going to stabilize this in a way that's going to be extremely reasonable, probably a daily basis, that it's well enough for that day, So taking the averages, like I did with my little price generator thing, taking the averages of how much money is used, and then they're going to probably, they can feed all this information in and say, what was the largest day? Well, they're going to have to be prepared for the largest day, aren't they? So I believe the minimum is going to have to be what the largest day could be. So could you all agree with that? That would be then stability and liquidity. So anyway, that was free. Just throw that in there right here.
No, those are great examples because, when you talk about stability, that's the whole concept of why you have to have something that's scalable,
Exactly.
Anne Marie
Scalable.
Fix has to have the same experience as you. I have to have the same experience as River. Brittany has to have the same experience as April Cornwell. All of us have to have the same experience, because what if, for instance, I'm just going to throw another example. Daniel McGalpine, for instance, or Galpine, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. Sorry. He's like, he says he's from South Africa. Look at this, right? So he's in South Africa, and the time difference. Let's say, for instance, we're all asleep, but where he's at South Africa, everyone's like in a panic. He has to have the same experience as all the people that are in the panic, because if he doesn't, then it becomes volatile. So I'm glad to see that they prepared for the future.
Yeah. Carry on, my friend.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to get into just a tad bit more about this, and then Will Fix obviously has some things we're going to get into. Before we get into that part that he has on his Ripple segment, we'll take a moment to get back into the questions, try to have a nice balance. But I want to point out some of these things in regards to what's traditionally been mentioned in regards to Fedwire and so on. So Fedwire has traditionally been limited to the number of parties that could be referenced in a payment, but those impediments are now no longer impediments. Interesting. Now look at this. In a hypothetical example, an investment firm would no longer have to strive to, quote, figure out who the money might be for based on reading a generic text reference field. Again, this has existed not just in the form of payments with banks. I always use the example, like, for instance, video games and so on. Will Fix and I, obviously, 21 years ago with DPG of Melbourne Isle Assault and so on, we would try to look at a log file, try to see if somebody was doing something malicious or being a bad actor. And then a lot of times we go to the halfway mark of that log file, and back in those days, you get what they call message truncation. So what it would do is, instead of just populating the whole message like you see on the screen right here, it would just garble it up. That exists in the old MTMX messaging system with Swift. Imagine taking that out of the as a factor anymore, where basically speaking, as the message is transferred from Greece or England or France or whatever country to the recipient country in their native language, South Korean, or I should say South Korean, but Korean, Japanese, Mandarin, Cantonese, whatever the case be, or over here, it doesn't get garbled up because the tech takes that out of the equation and it does it instantaneous. That's absolute game changer. Now look at this for a second, where it says, for instance, to figure it out. The data is relayed through a structured field and the application of funds is automated. This further proves everything we've been talking about for the longest time. So for all you guys that are watching, I've seen some of your guys' comments. You're like, I don't know who was in the comments. The guy was just like, we're going to be rich. And he's flexing. Yeah. Don't get flooded out of your generational wealth, because it is just that you've done the research. You've understood why ISO 222 is such a big deal. Quant ISO TC 307, but it's still an ISO 222, right? But all these ones tied to ISOs, right? Your Ripples, your Stellars, your Quants, your Hbars, your, I guess you could even say DEG. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a few other ones, right? But look at this statement real quick as well. I like this. This is good stuff. We'll start to see banks and fintechs determine how to provide and make use of that data. Well, which ones are tied to that data? Well, your Ripples XRPs, your Stellars, you name it, right? Looking ahead, says Sullivan, it's likely that at least some payments volume will migrate from Fedwire to the FedNow service. We pointed this out in 3 examples. Ripple's XRP through certain partnerships, right? Talked about Volante and some of these other ones. We also seen it with Stellar. The biggest example lately is Hbar when it comes to FedNow. One of the key distinctions between the instant payment systems and Fedwire is the dollar limit cap. The average Fedwire transaction is in the range of 5 million, and many of the payments are bank to bank. But as FedNow gains more acceptance and raises transaction limits, there will be a gradual shift of at least one or some Fedwire transactions to FedNow. Now, in the past, some people say, well, who is controlling that? We did a special about it was the best. The central bank of central banks was the one with control. You could go back and it shows, for instance, it looks like a puppet master in the thumbnail doing this thing. If anything, I'll try to link that to Will. But Will, what do you think in regards to some of this? Like, do you feel as though that this is all starting to, I don't know, not just make sense, but now you're getting actual verifications and having people literally talking about how this is all coming about?
Yeah, and there's a currency burn factor going on all over the world. The U.S. currency is getting burned as far as not being used. So I imagine the Fed, because they have what is it, M1, M2, M3 currencies. They have you got the digital currency, not digital, but the paperless, digital represented money. We have then now we have digital money, and then we have paper money supply. I imagine they're going to have to do it just like they're doing it over time, and then kind of have a burn cash mechanism so you don't duplicate monies, so to speak. But yeah, man, they're pushing it in on the system, and it's going to ride through all kinds of systems because it can. So some of it's going to jump on Ripple rails, isn't it?
I like how you said that. Yeah, Ripple rails. Giving you guys a heads up, we're going to try to keep a good balance because, I've been guilty of like being an hour late on the comments. We're going to jump back into the comments for a brief bit. And basically speaking, we are also going to welcome a couple people. Stump Rider, hi Max, a crypto fan. Thank you for being here. We also have Nikhil Plof, if I pronounced that right. I think I welcomed you earlier. Nice of Brittany to welcome. She says the lovely Anne Marie Fix, and there's Anne Marie.
Woo!
River, if I didn't welcome you earlier, good to see you, Mr. River. April Cornwell says, hey, good to see you, April. All right, let's get into some questions from the Will Fix side of things. Would you like to look at some of the questions from your community on your
Yeah,
community
let's
tab?
get over here.
Sure.
Looks like we got 68. Wow, it's a good number. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, we have a combined total of 107. Thank you so much, you guys, for showing up to these live shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays with myself and Will.
There, nobody else covers this kind of content. Where's my whiskey?
Oh boy,
Who's that?
Yeah, I wonder.
Right.
I think everybody knows who that is.
That honestly though, he's kind of fun to watch. Honestly, I have to be honest.
I just watch him on recorded. I don't watch his live anymore, but teaches them.
Yeah, some of this stuff. I mean, how many times he mentions that his content is he's the only one out there giving good content. I go, okay. I mean, polish yourself. Let your wife polish you. Polish each other. Don't polish yourself.
Well, speaking of polish, Will, you might want to read this across the screen.
What? Okay, let me go to. You can't polish a turd. No, but you can laminate it.
Oh, I'll never look at lamination the same way ever again.
Yeah, I know. Or you could put it in what is it, acrylic?
That's horrible. Sorry about that. Sorry for the look squirrel moment, guys. All right, so over on your tab, we have again some questions and stuff. If you want to look into some, I think we have one from.
Yeah, let's see. Last time I looked, I said, "What's up, Wade?" He said, "What's up, Will?"
How about this one from? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was saying there's a question from Richard Rigg. Do you see that one? You want to read that one?
Yeah, Richard Reagan.
Rigg, not Reagan.
Where? I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I make it pop up, Max?
You would have to do that through StreamYard. I mean, when we do.
Oh, okay.
I think people understand when we do these dual streams. I mean, it's okay. It's like some comments we can highlight. It's just it's just a lot of comments that come by.
Let's say we hit the target we want for our XRP bag. What's the best strategy moving forward? Earning interest. Well, as soon as you go to an exchange and change it from XRP to cash, that's a taxable event. So leaving it on an exchange and moving it, now I know XRP technically can't be staked because that has an exact definition, but it can be parked somewhere and earn a yield. That might be one of the better solutions and pay tax slowly. But, to each his own. I mean, if I get several million, I don't mind paying it all at once and just then being free from the whole tax deal and start something new. But one of the best ways to have tax-free money is through loans. If you secure your XRP somewhere, let's say you got, $1,250,000 and worth of XRP, finding a bank that would give you a loan and then working and allowing the yield to pay the payments is one way to be tax-free because you're not taxed on loan money. It's kind of a way that property works. When you have property, you can do a cash refi on a rental property, pull money out, and you don't pay tax because it's a loan. And then you got your people paying your rent that are paying your loan down. So it's almost the same effect where you could borrow against your XRP, and that's going to be available because we're all going to be novices running around with the money. What do we do? What do we do? We're going to have all this money, and it's really going to be something that people will make money solving that problem for us. And I believe it's going to be through loans is probably what it'll be. Or if I say staking the money, y'all realize I understand that XRP can't be staked, but you know what I mean. Okay. So I'm just going to make it easy. So if I stake my XRP somewhere and I'm getting a yield from it, I mean, live off that and pay tax as it's whittled out at you, holding the XRP for, I don't know, indefinite. Really, if you, one day we was going to look up and have as part of the show, what's happened to so many lotto winners. Just about all of them go broke.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
It's because they don't handle it right. They get addicted to spending money and they cannot stop because they took this guard off, that they can do what they want. The better choice for every one of them, of sorrow upon sorrows. Imagine 5 years after you hit the lottery for $10 million that you're broke because you bought a house that was too big. Now you can't afford the taxes, and just all this wild stuff. People don't realize the electric bill on a mansion, it can be $1,000 a month. So yeah, it's paid for. So you spend all your money and now you can't afford your own utilities. So reviewing that has a purpose. We don't want to be that way because we're going to hit the lottery. Okay. We're going to hit money that we haven't had before. And there's two basic rules that I think of being a business owner, and I see businesses fail. There's two really powerful rules, two disciplines. You must be able to have money and not spend it. The second rule is every penny, every bit of money that's not yours, get rid of it immediately. In other words, pay everything that needs to be paid. When I build a guitar, if I spend $800 on parts, and then I build the guitar, I sell it for $1,600. I didn't make $1,600, did I? If I don't fund my next project, now I've watched plenty of talented luthiers not make it because they can't have money and not spend it, and they won't get rid of the money that's not theirs. Those two rules just like taxes, you better set your taxes aside. Set it aside, or you're going to be in trouble. And that kind of trouble is not what you want. So, what's the best way to handle the money? Well, one way is a loan because you don't have to pay taxes on it. So you just freed yourself from a burden and you left your wealth somewhere that's still going to be providing you wealth. You can take loans out forever, right? And pay them off with the yield. So you just try to adjust your loan to be your payment to equal your yield. But then you always have a reserve to pull from in an emergency to pay off a loan, settle debts. So, in my opinion, it would be that. And then next would be properties. If you have XRP and people can see how much you have, a bank will be willing to loan you money because it's a secured loan. And there's ways that they can put attachments on that. So a bank could hold some of your XRP or hold as collateral all of your whatever the amount was necessary to hold, and then give you a loan, and then that loan is then paid by your renters, and you build yourself an apartment complex or a quadruplex. Spend $500,000 on a quadruplex, get a loan. Now you're making a yield. Your ROI should be at least 7% on property, and 10 to 12% is even better. And now you're establishing properties, and you got people that are paying your debt down, and then the value of your property is going up. And generally, every 5 to 7 years, people will do a cash out refi on that property. So it was worth $500,000. Now it's worth $750,000. I do a cash out refi. I go up on all the rent. I take $250,000 and I just juggle it in the air and play with it as I wish because I don't have to pay any taxes on it. So those are some ideas. Does that help?
Oh, totally. I like those examples. I mean, you're talking about collateralized assets. I remember when ISO 222 first came out, or technically went live last March 20th. There's this guy, I think his name's Cryptonaire, if I'm not mistaken. He's an influencer. He showed in a video how you were able to send an ISO 222 message and actually use XDC as collateral. I always thought that was really interesting.
I don't do ecstasy.
Yeah, that video was with Anne-Marie.
But I own more cool XDC than I do any other coin.
We're going to take a brief pause here, guys. We do need to recognize like some super chats and stuff like that. I want to give a shout out to Salamander, the XDC commander. He did drop a super chat earlier. I want to recognize that. Let's see what time that was. First of all, thank you so much, Richie Rich. You actually have a real avatar now. That's interesting. Thanks for being here. Freeman Muse, he says, hey. Scrooge McDoge, thank you for saying smash that like. Michael P from Vegas, thank you guys. Really appreciate you being here. Elon Mike Cornwall, thanks for being here, man. Corey B-Bay has a statement, a question, I guess. Since securities now basically the digital asset division of DTCC, does it seem that the global financial system is built on Stellar's tech? Draw your own conclusion on that. Looks like it's very encouraging, don't it? Does it not? Robert Williams says, hi, good to see you again. Bobby the Red A, all you guys, appreciate it. Joe Guapo, you're the guy that said that. You're going to be rich. Andrea Williams, good afternoon. Thank you for being here. All right, so we're going to go further down. If there's some comments that were skipped, it's not intentional. It's just there's a lot of people here. Good problems, right, guys? So we're going to get further down. Jack Thompson, it's good to see you. I do appreciate you being here, and we're going to get right into it. I guess I'll read this. Max, I spread the word about Maximus Crypto on Jasmy Stockwood's page. They have around 16,000 followers. Maybe someone will check it out. Hey, thanks, man. Always appreciate your support, Corey B-Bay, a.k.a. Jasmy Not a Scam. All right. Cool Cat Crypto's in the house. Good to see you, man. Tia, Mike, appreciate you guys. All right. I'm just still kind of going further down to get to that super chat. So give me just a second. Life in China with Patrick's greetings from China. Wow. Interesting. Glad to have you here, Patrick. Tia, hopefully I welcomed you earlier. T. Lens, good to have you. All right, here's a super chat. It is from Salamander, the XDC commander. Even Fred Sanford from Sanford and Sons love Ripple. That's a good point. We did show that video a long time ago. That was cool. How about this? Lieutenant Dan Taylor of Forrest Gump. Always trying to send Forrest down to the corner, pick him up some Ripple. All right. Yes. Good stuff. Thank you so much for this $2 super chat, Salamander. All right. And let's double check the screens, making sure we didn't lose or skip anything. I don't think we did. Let's check Will Fix's side of things.
I'm
we do have
answering
some
with you
questions
right now. I was just answering Miss Yim. She was saying, explain the stability again. And the price estimation for XRP will simply just have to be the maximum that it would need to be plus some, because anything else would be irresponsible. And since they're responsible for handling liquidity and making sure the banks can send payments, the way that you create a stability with a pressing need, and there's only so many coins, right? So we could all agree probably only about 30 billion coins. I say only, but 30 billion coins are probably all that's actually available to purchase. And that's if every exchange exhausted their sales of what's being held. Okay, so since a bank is not probably going to go to every exchange to get 30 billion, if they're trying to move $30 billion and it's at 75 cents, then what's going to happen when that bank is signed up, turned on, and that is a possibility, that's already been prearranged and thought about. How much do you move on average? How much do you move? What's your biggest days? All of this stuff has to be thought about, because the bank's making a deal with somebody to move their money. If they didn't collect that data, they would be fools. So they collect all of this data. So XRP has all of this data of what the need's going to be. That's going to tell them what the biggest day could possibly be. And then they're going to have to make a little room for other possibilities on the price of each coin, so that 30 billion can handle the load, because 30 billion can't handle $30 billion right now. Right. So even if it is for 2 or 3 seconds, so they're probably going to adjust this in this well thought out algorithm. It's going to adjust the coin and the price to be more than enough to create stability so that banks can transfer funds. Some of the banks are going to hold funds. It's actually going to be better for everybody if they lease some of the coins. And it's still going to inflate the price, because on an average on what's being moved, that goes into the algorithm to figure what's necessary for the price to be big enough to be stable for that possibility. So just for that possibility to exist, the price goes up. That the money doesn't have to be in there. It just has to be possible to be moved. And so we're not going to have a stability problem and a liquidity problem for the company running around going, we're the answer to liquidity. Oh, we didn't think about that. They're thinking about it, man, woman, whatever the case may be. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
There you go. Well, yeah, that was a nice statement and so on. I did on a few HELOCs back in the day between 05 and 07, home equity line of credits. All right, let's see here. We're going to go further down. Got to catch that wallet that first supports BSV. Says Cool Cat Crypto. Cent B and Hang Cash are two good ones. I covered Cent B in that one video. Give you guys some examples. All right, let's see here. Life in China with Patrick. Live like nobody will for 10 years. After, you'll be able to live like nobody else can. Oh, boy. And especially coming from somebody that's living in China, you probably could see what's going on. Interesting. Great statement, Patrick. All right. Let's see what else we got. We got Richard Rigg thanking Will Fix for his response. Let's see here. Matt Williams. Oh, man. The Diamondbacks, they lost the World Series. They could have used old school Matt Williams, but they didn't. Anyway, I don't know if you guys follow baseball. What up, guys? Watching from Oz. Thank you for being here. All right. Richard Rigg. Will, I saw your video on tokenizing rental property and earning interest. XRP. We already talked about that. That's good stuff, though. All right. So let me go further down. Let's get into the last part of what we have. I guess I'll read this one. Ahmed. Always good to see old Ahmed. I'm just telling you guys, 2024 is coming up, right? Election year. When the guy comes up to you and he's like, you know what? You're going to get this darn button, whether you like it or not, or the sticker that says, I voted. You need to wear a t-shirt that has this as your avatar, okay? Because that will stop that guy that's like, oh, hey, you voted, you want a cookie, right? Dead in his tracks, okay? This needs to be merch. Absolutely. Merch. Shout out to Ahmed. All right. XLM to 69K. Wow. That would be beyond amazing. I don't know how that works, but hey, you know what? I'm shooting it down. All right, so we're going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to get to the last part of our Ripple XRP coverage, and it is from Will Fix. I'm going to pull this up, get nice and primed and ready to go for you guys. I could either pull it up, Will, or if you have on your end to make it easier.
Yeah, give me just 1 second. I was looking something up, and if I can find, I have a friend that looks like that avatar.
Looks like this?
Looks like that little boy. Yeah, he's this way.
Ahmed has changed it a few times. I think he changed it to one of actually him. But
let me see if I can find one where there's no beard.
That's all right. I'm gonna see if there's any questions while you're doing that. Let's see here. Sai Persona Goud or Good. Hey, Will, can XRP reach 10 to 35K by 2024, 2025? Man. I'll give you that a little bit later. I know you're multitasking.
I'm just gonna pick one so I can get this over with. But
okay,
you got to trust me that when he was younger, and he shaved his goatee. Well, you won't have to trust me. You'll see the similarity. Let's see here. Bam. Now let's go over here. Oh, it doesn't have share that, so I got to go down here and turn this on. All right. I'm figuring it out. I won't talk myself through this after. Is this the right one? No, this is the right one. Yeah. Bam.
Do you think that the picture of Ahmed looks like that guy?
Well, it reminds me of him when he was young. When you take this right here, this little beard off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Huh.
Yeah, and then if you squint the eyes, I mean, he's not making the face.
Jeez, man, I guess so. That's kind of crazy.
He's a super brilliant guy. He's made himself a millionaire several times over from investments, from creating cell phone companies. He's no joke. He's the real deal. Great guy. Though he's a Democrat, but some people are.
Some interesting.
Oh, I just set those beads free.
No, that's all right. All
right, yeah.
Let's go back to this question. Hey, Will, can XRP reach 10,035K by 2024, 2025? That's a big ask.
Yeah, that's a big figure. Now, when I use my so here's the funny thing. Okay, so if you take XRP, say there's 30 billion available. When I say available, a lot of them are parked somewhere and stuck in wallets, so those aren't available. When you take 30 billion coin and you start adding in, like I did up with a price estimator, so they move this much money a year. You divide that by 365 to get an average daily. You start stacking that money up. You only get about 10 companies deep before you hit $100, okay, of XRP price. Now that's without any retail market reaction. Because here's the weird thing. Let's say there were 10 exchanges. Let's say everybody on all 10 exchanges today, even though it's at 60 whatever cents, 70 cents, whatever it is, said, I'm not selling until it's $5. And everybody locked out the price, and they had one XRP for $5 up for bid. And the bid and ask starts going. So the bid, people are trying to get it, and it hits that $5 and buys those 10 XRP tokens, okay, for $5. Well, instantly the price of XRP goes to $5. Now, the market cap's figured by what the last sales were times the 53 billion coins. But that doesn't mean there's 53 billion times $5 inside of XRP. So you see the point there? So you could move that up to $10,000 per XRP, and the price of XRP, those 10 tokens sell for $10,000. Then it would be $10,000 per XRP. That would be the new established price times $53 billion. Here's why I said that part. When I did the price calculations, that took all supply and demand out. It was just the raw necessity to get to $100. So, but when it's rising up to $100, when these institutions put their money in, what's going to happen? This is why I put the video out that said the charts don't matter. The charts don't mean squat to these big movements. The charts will matter after these big movements, because then you'll be able to measure momentum. You'll be able to see the MACD lines crossed. You'll see the RSI and blah, blah, blah. All this stuff will be affected. But as soon as it jolts up 50 cents, how many people are jumping in? So the institution price is going to come up because it's just going to, because it's going to fill the system by necessity, just by absolute filling up the system with money. That's going to cause a supply and demand reaction. The supply and demand reaction can drive it to the moon. Look what happened to Tesla. I was calling to short Tesla at the top. I'm like, short it. Everybody thought I was retarded, you know? And if anybody, you know, has any family members suffering with that, I didn't mean it in that, you know, in any kind of negative way. So sorry if that offended anybody, but you know, that still was, but it happened, didn't it? It went down because that's market sentiment. The sentiment of XRP, this is what's so exciting to me. The sentiment of Bitcoin is leftover old news from making millionaires on a non-utility, really meme coin. Really? The utility of it is crap. True. You can't do cross-border. You can't do much of nothing with it. They're still living off of old news. It's going to turn into current market condition old news as soon as utility coin becomes the new news. And then XRP is going to experience an exponential growth, because when the institutional money's hitting, everybody's going to be, you're going to be freaking out, you know, because it's going to probably jump a dime, you know, then jump a nickel, and you're going to have what they call God candles. You're going to have these God candles show up, and retailers are going to be freaking out. I want to say this too. I don't believe the volatility is going to be what you think it's going to be because of the law of averages. The law of averages, the amount that we think affects it now is not going to affect it once it's tons of more money's in there. It's going to be a smaller proportion. So all of us getting our millions, it's not going to mean squat. Okay? It's not going to mean squat, because we're talking billions upon billions, thousands of millions and thousands of millions coming in. So I personally don't believe it's going to be giant volatility. It's still going to be in a channel, you know, let's see, I better do it this way. There'll still be a channel, and there'll still be, you know, movement. It's always going to go up and down, but I don't believe it's going to be as sensitive as people think it's going to be to retailers cashing out. because it's going to be while institutional money is coming in and other people. Man, there was the one dude that bought a Bitcoin at 69,000.
There's a few of those people. I'm
Yeah.
not one of them, thank God.
So those are my thoughts, on that.
Yeah, that's nothing wrong with getting to that. Well, guys, we had a good balance of, for the most part, of reading the comments. Just gonna double check both screens real quick, make sure that we're good. Welcome to Maddie B, Blue Batteries, Boomer F and Sooner. Sorry, I didn't welcome you earlier, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. What we're going to do now is Will is going to show you this last part in regards to Ripple, in regards to a specific partnership. Some of you guys shared a little bit about this the other day, but we're going to get more into the specifics. Do you happen to have that up, Will, from Crypto Potato?
Yes, I do. I actually have that ready. Let me.
That way, when you go through it, you can control it and go up and down.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Wow. All right.
Well, all right. Can everybody see that?
Yeah. Whatever part you want to get to, on the top or bottom or middle. Some of you guys just I want to give credit real quick where credit's due. So I think it was a combination of Mike Cornwell. We also have Henry Brown. You guys kind of shared this, I think, a little bit yesterday, but this goes a little bit more in depth about it. So I just want to recognize that. But go ahead, take it away, Will.
This reminds me of another thing I've got to say here that just makes you go, does me. Talking about stability, talking about money being in the system 3 seconds and how all the price and blah, 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 blah. Right? Because all those seem like negative factors. It turns out they're not, because the system's going to be prepared for that. Okay, we settled that. Here's a powerful one. When you do a CBDC, when a CBDC currency comes online with XRP on the Ripple system, all of the money in the entire country comes into XRP and stays there. Why does it stay there? Well, because what are you changing it into? As soon as you get, so your whole paycheck is in the CBDC, and you start sending your money out, and it's still the CBDC, and it goes to where it's going is the CBDC. You see what I mean? It's just circulating the same money constantly inside of that economy, and all of that money 100% of the time stays in the system. So just want to throw that in there. So let's read this. Ripple XRP announces an important partnership. Kuwait Finance, I wanted to say KFC, described Ripple as a world-class company that provides unique and top-tier services. So check this out. Ripple partners with Kuwait Finance House for cross-border payments and is selected by the National Bank of Georgia for a digital currency project and gets regulatory approval in Dubai. Kuwait Finance House reports over 150 million digital transactions and plans to integrate more innovation, including AI. XRP's value rises sharply, hitting 3-month high. This is just reporting news. High, becoming the 4th largest crypto by market cap amid positive market trends and legal developments. Cool that they put that out there, because that draws a lot of attention to it, doesn't it? Ripple's latest partnership. Ripple, the crypto company behind the XRP token, teamed up with the Kuwait Finance, KFH, to launch instant cross-border payment services. The latter praised the blockchain enterprise for its expertise in the matter, raising hopes that the collaboration would economically benefit the Middle Eastern country. Al Agil, did I say that good? Executive Manager of Digital Transformation of KFH, disclosed that customers have conducted over 150 billion digital banking transactions through the entity's online application at the end of the 3rd quarter. He also outlined the organization's intentions to follow the major trends, innovation such as artificial intelligence. Ripple's linked to the most important deals in the past 2 weeks: the National Bank of Georgia, has picked up the company to lead the central bank digital currency efforts. Wow. And the rest of this is,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just
we
other
don't
news.
need
Yeah.
to read all that. But when we see this kind of a thing, um, this I tried to look up how much money, that circulates in Dubai. And if you've ever looked at Dubai, I mean, it's freaking magnificent. They got machines on the sides of buildings that have ounces of gold in them, where you swipe your card and buy gold out of a vending machine. They
Yeah, I've
have
seen that, like
cars.
an actual bullion. It's crazy.
Yeah. They have cars covered in solid gold, where the whole car is gold plated and chrome plated. And they drive around with, like, one of the big things there is if you have a cougar or some kind of wild cat, they'll have cougars and freaking, leopards and lions and stuff in their Bugatti that's covered in gold. I mean, it's insane the amount of money there. And I say that because they get the CBDC currency over there. All of that's going to be on XRP, on Ripple system, probably XRP. And I made a
Well, if
mistake in
not
my
all of
video.
it, then a lot of it. It's not like it's Ripple XRP is the one, right? But they are part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have one without the other. They're scratching each other's back.
Right.
So, some people make sure to point out in my videos when I confuse the two or use one for the other. They make sure to point that. I'm so glad they follow closely. It's really a joy.
Right.
I get a lot of stuff wrong, so that's just it's part of how I roll, man. Keeping it
It's called
free.
you're not AI, you're human, and
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
I'm keeping everybody free. They can relax.
One thing that I think is going to be really cool is, can you imagine? Right now this is like the introduction of mass adoption for Dubai, for instance. And then it's not that I know a lot of people have been to Dubai. I know a few. But my thing, Will, is basically it's like going over to Dubai, and then can you imagine you go into like some of these hotels you're talking about, or just anywhere. Maybe it is a KFC. I don't know. And then you go in there and you see it's like Ripple accepted here, or XRP accepted here. And it's just like all over the place, Ripple accepted here. I mean, I really picture that'd be really cool, you know.
Absolutely.
Or in the future, maybe Stellar and so on. I mean, we're not oblivious to that either. But, well, we have a super chat that came in again. Thank you so much. Let me just double check where we're at on the comments. Let me see.
How awesome.
Yeah. So let me scroll down to it. And I did believe it is from Salamander again. Let me see. Lots of comments. Good prompts. All right, here we go. Salamander XDC Commander, $2 super chat. Will fix XRP.
Woohoo! Thank you, Salamander.
All right. Thanks, Sal. We do appreciate it. We'll read this from Corey Bibe. Boom. So BlackRock and Stellar are working together with Ukraine. All right. I think we're at the bottom. So what we're going to do now is, Will, if you want to just check out maybe the last bit of comments from your side of things. And if anything, you might be able to, because I know you said that, on Tuesdays it's not as long. But
yeah, a little
yeah,
shorter.
you might be able to wrap things up a little bit more quickly.
Yeah,
Here.
I do have one little something that I want to. Today's video, I did talk about, some people might be, that content's fresh on their minds because they might have watched it. Wow, 67. Man, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, we got 120 total.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a
But
big crowd. How fun. How
yeah,
fun. Yeah, and if anybody has questions or anything, now'd be the time to make sure to get them in. Just hit it up
and
in
that
the comments.
and I will advise before the dual stream gets rug pulled. If you want some extra coverage, stick around even though Will won't be here. I do have some Hedera I want to get into for you guys. There's a particular interview, a new one with Dr. Lehman Baird I'd like to share with you guys. So we have some Hedera Hbar coverage. We also have some Jasmy coverage to get into as well, if that's your thing. But if it's a case of Cartman where it's like, ski guys, I'm going home. We're fixing out here. I understand.
Oh man, and Hedera's kicking it with that Twigital app.
That's the one I was going to talk about. I was going to do
Wow.
a little, because you talked about originally sparked my interest, and then I was like, wow, Dr. Lehman Baird is
Yeah.
literally interviewing a guy from Twigital. So
Isn't that, yeah, that's gonna rock. And arbitrage trading. I do want to cover that. Max and I talked today. We don't want to leave something on the table that's so valuable. I put in my video today just a couple snippets on. All of you probably know how Sam Bankman-Fried earned his legitimate money through arbitrage trading. He was earning $1 million a day once he got up to having enough money to having $10 million. Then he just made $1 million a day, 5 days a week. Bam, 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 bam. Now, how did he get that 10 million? Well, he didn't start off with 10 million. If you look at, if 10 million will earn you $1 million, 1,000 will earn you 100. And the old adage, if you had a penny a day and you doubled it, by the time you get to 30 times, it's over $1 million, isn't it? So if you took $1,000 and ran it through and made 100, now you're running 1,100 through, right? And at that same rate, I'm not saying that same rate's always available, but at that same rate, you can run it through how many times in a day? This is what we're going to learn. So we're partnering up with an outfit that's going to give us training, and they're going to give us training on arbitrage trading. What they have, and this just a brief snippet, just to get a whiff of the smell of bread. Arbitrage trading is real simple. One exchange will have XRP for 72 cents. I'm using XRP just because, but there may be better coins than XRP as far as arbitrage trading. But on one it might be 72 cents. On another, it might be 68. So there's a 4-cent difference. So you just send it through its route, get it to the other side. You just take your 50 coins, send them to the other site where they're worth more, cash them out to whatever, whatever, what is, Tether, if you, or not, or the other one, what is it?
Circle.
Yeah. Whatever it is, whatever you decide as a stable coin, and send it back to yourself. You just made money. And you turn around and do it again. Bam, 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 bam. It's probably monotonous, but this particular site doesn't take control of your wallets. You have an AI system that is giving you alerts of the arbitrage differences of the coins you choose. Secondly, it does a scan of wallets, and guess what they have found? They have found certain wallets that just happen to do huge purchases before news comes out that causes a jump in price. Wow, how convenient. So you can get alerts to those types of things as well. So if that kind of thing interests you, we're in the process of getting involved, learning that, where we can cover that. And it's not going to become who we are. It's just going to become an aspect of what we do and what we'll be able to help others in as far as direction, and then getting to know the team that does this, because literally millions can be made. So who's brave enough to give it a shot? I'm brave enough to fail in order to have the possibility of success. And you know, I'll succeed at this because I'll learn from somebody who already knows how to do it, and it seems pretty brainless, to be honest with you. And it'll come down to, where do I tap, where do I click, and the steps in between. And you can do it too. That's the thing. We can do. Come on, you've seen Sam Bankman-Fried. He's no special human being. Anyway, I just want to put that out there as a sample. That's something we're working on, and you don't want to miss some of the updates as we're along the way on this stuff. And so some of this is going to be more geared towards Max. Some of this will be more geared towards me, and together we're gonna have a team to help get this thing started and be able to lead in this particular direction. I think it's going to be profitable for us. And I wouldn't use my current XRP. Somebody was like, yeah, it would be dumb to do that. Use brand new money. You don't have any? Turn a turd into money, right? Don't go out to eat, right? Don't find a way. Sell something. Sell your old clothes on eBay, right?
Right.
You know, there's ways to come up with money. I think right now we need to muster the energy out of thin air to do more than what we're planning to do, to get our butt up out of the chair, to take a couple steps and do something for our own selves. Who knows that you're not the next multimillionaire? Who knows? So we got to try. The number one thing to succeeding is to take that first step and to try. So anyway, we'll be introducing that, and I wanted to share that, and it is past my bedtime tonight.
Oh, jeez.
I'm getting sleepy.
No, it's all good. There's a time difference. Understand. Yeah, 10:16 over there. Well, it's been a pleasure having Mr. Will Fix on. If you guys want to see, for instance, some Hbar and Jasmy, we'll get into that a little bit after Will calls the night. But thank you so much, Will. We'll see you back on Thursday.
Yes. I pray you all be blessed. I pray the Lord shine his light upon you, bless you and keep you, guide you into all forms of prosperity. He's the way, the truth, and the life, and he's changed my life. So I bless y'all with saying that. And if you don't like that, hey, I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. and it's my reality. So y'all have a good night. I love y'all. And I love you, Max. You're awesome.
Love you too, buddy. Thank you again for everything. And be on the lookout for some of Will's videos. You can catch up some of the content that he has released today on his channel over at Will Fix. And then also he pretty much releases like a video every day. And he'll be back obviously on Thursdays. For the newcomers, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. We may possibly change that next week. I'll have to talk more with Will Fix about that. But for the most part, that's how it goes.
That's right. All right.
Have a great night, Will.
All right. Now, I'm not going to cancel the stream.
God, no. Don't do that.
I'm just going to remove myself here. All right.
Let me just go hit the end stream button. No. Don't want to do that.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Take it easy. Maria, a few more comments from you guys. And then we're going to get into the Hbar coverage. Thank you again to everybody who's still here. If you're in the Hbar, you might want to check out this one. I mean, anything from Hbar is interesting, especially when it has Dr. Lehman Barrett in the interview. All right, so let's read a few more comments. I think you guys have an interesting conversation. I don't know if I read all this stuff. A polished turd is greater than XRP. You're not a big fan of XRP. I know that you hold some, but I guess you're not a big fan of it. That's okay. We're all inside our own opinions. Sweet dreams to Will Fix. Yes. Thank you very much. Johnny Gucci 9. Thank you for being here. People just saying, some good stuff about Will. Richie Rich, what do you got there? Let me see what you got. You got a new avatar. You're enjoying a big giant margarita of some sort. Sounds pretty good. Maybe that's a margarita. Maybe it's not a margarita. I don't know. Ross Hutton, XRP, Jesus is the way. Thanks, man. That's the way I look at it too. Thank you, Mr. Ross Hutton. Ahmed is saying blessings to Will Fix. Thank you for that, you guys. And Tim Shea, I want to know your opinion about the Coinbase BSV situation, but whatever. I did talk about that yesterday, actually, Tim. I don't know if you saw that. I did a segment about that specifically. I got a direct message, DM from Satoshi talking about that. All right, what we're going to do now is we are going to get into the Hedera coverage. All right, let's see here. So, oh, it's a margarita. Cool. Just down here, you typically see this salt sprinkled on the top and whatnot. Maybe it's there. I just can't see it in that avatar. All right. Let's turn on some of that branding for the people that kind of like that, when they, I don't know, may walk into the other room or do something else and then, see me on the screen. They're like, well, I don't see the avatar. All right, so here it is. It's the Hedera Hbar coverage of the night. And some interesting things to say the least. Let's pull this up for you guys. So for one, comes straight from Twitter, from Twigital. Will Fix, of course, introduced Twigital on his channel. So for some of you guys that are aware of it, here's kind of another thing that we'll expand upon. So yes, let's pull this up. Many of you guys heard of the whole concept of digital twins. We talk about with many things, not just Hedera, Jasmy, quite a few things, right? So as you can see here, in this clip, Hedera founder and Hashgraph inventor Dr. Lehman Baird and Jesse discuss just how powerful the files that Twigital, creates really are, basically. Look what's mentioned here. Tokenize everything built on Hedera. This is 1:34. We'll play it, and then we'll take you to some other things in regards to Twigital, where you can get it if you choose to do so, the whole shebang. Appreciate the coverage. All we ask you to do is smash the like. Let's go ahead and play this. Thanks again for being here. Here we go.
The cool thing about these USD files is that this is what Twigital creates. You can create scenes from these files. So you can have a blank canvas and put things in motion. We can spin this and make a movie of it. We can orbit this with another object that you like or do things. And we're just at the leading edge of that. And I think those types of things, after you make a Twigital and you have this basic file, I think of it the same way as when you describe people, you provided this beautiful layer one network with all these native services that allow us to do this. And I imagine you thinking, what cool things will people build? And you've said this with or on Hedera. And I feel the very same way. When people use Twigital, I view it as this basic utility, just like a water faucet. This is how you create them. And then after you create them, there's so many things you'll be able to do with them, including making movies, making animations, making a basket of insurable goods to sell to an insurer, whatever you want to do. But we're just the utility that creates these objects, and then they will end up populating all of these spaces that we're talking about, shared worlds, I suppose, included in that.
Very good. That's exciting. So I'm looking forward to this future where we have assets like these that you can go. Maybe there's marketplaces for assets where you can do it. You can build your own movie. You can build your own environment. I guess the USD files probably include things like rigging. They even have that.
Yeah,
okay, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you could ultimately have these things very easily, bring them into your movie and make them then do things in your movie. I love that.
So this whole thing, right, that they're talking about, Twigital, in regards to Hedera's form of digital twins, if you will. Some people ask, like, what's the significance of it and so on. You may have saw it over on Will Fix's side of things. I'd be with you. I'd be wondering about it as well. So for one, you can go out and get this, but, if you're a newcomer, you're like, I don't know what digital twins are. Like, what the heck is that? Well, I'd be asking the same question. So the definition of a digital twin is a virtual representation, basically, of a physical object. That process or system that is updated with, for instance, real-time data from sensors and other sources. Hence why when we did all the Jasmy coverage, all those sensors, the Internet of Things should be your key takeaway. This allows users to monitor the performance of the real-world object or system, identify, potential problems, make better decisions on how to operate and maintain just that. Um, a little bit more to elaborate on in regards to digital twins, just in case you weren't aware of this. They're used obviously in a variety of ways for multiple different industries, including manufacturing, healthcare, for instance, transportation. Digital twins are basically used to monitor the performance of machinery, equipment. On top of that, basically potential problems before like they cause downtime. I mean, those are, you know, some things that are good to point out. They can optimize production processes. Back to the whole thing of healthcare, digital twins can be used to personalize, for instance, models of patients' bodies, you know, to get a bigger perspective. You know, why use somebody as a, for instance, you know, a guinea pig when you could use a 3D model of that, right? Where I'm going with that. They can use digital twins to, you know, treat plans to monitor patients' progress. In regards to digital twins in transportation, used to monitor the performance of vehicles, infrastructure, optimize traffic flow. I mean, this is a great thing that benefit anybody who's been to Los Angeles. It's like an absolute nightmare as far as traffic. I mean, I've been there multiple times. Last time I was there, I literally needed to go 4 miles and I was stuck in traffic for 4 hours. It's beyond ridiculous, right? Can improve safety. But another key thing that stands out in regards to all this is the bottom line is all that stuff sounds good, right? But can it reduce costs? The answer is yes. Digital twins can help reduce costs by optimizing maintenance schedules, extending lifespan of physical assets. There's, of course, lots of things and challenges in regards to the cost of implementation of all this. I won't talk your ear off about that, but I want to take you over to actually Twigital. There is a Medium write-up about the whole thing. And what you're going to see right here is, for instance, this write-up from 6 days ago from Reverend Cynthia Pustulak, Safeth Ministries. And on this, it talks about monitoring just that the Twigital situation, because we were talking about Hedera and Twigital, exploring the intellectual property concerns. As you can see here, it does have the little Hedera logo. And of course, they have the intro about this and so on. But in regards to Twigital, they entered the arena with a concept that raises questions about the boundaries of intellectual properties. It says, while similarities exist, Safeth Ministries is taking a measured approach, contemplating its next steps. For instance, the emergence of Twigital. So check this out for a second. So the interest or the intriguing aspect is that both Safeth Ministries and Twigital work with digital assets in innovative ways. For one, leveraging blockchain tech. However, Safeth Ministries' initial claims, I should say, involve the use of dual NFTs for authenticity, traceability, which may differ from Twigital's approach. And when you guys watch that video from Will Fix, it shows, for instance, a boxing glove. And it talks about how, you know, if you're going to try this out, to use certain type of lining. But the point was that you're bringing this to kind of like almost like a realistic point of view from a 3D perspective. And when I mentioned the whole thing about digital twins earlier to you guys on an example, in regards to healthcare, again, you know, having a 3D representation of, for instance, like a human body or certain parts and so on, it can be used in numerous different examples for multiple different use cases. In regards to the intellectual property dilemma, there's always been just that. The heart of the matter revolves around the question of intellectual property. Safeth Ministries, that we're using as this example, has been diligently advancing its POA project, offering the retail industry innovative ways to enhance authenticity, verification, supply chain, traceability, customer engagement, and the creation of secondary markets. For you, that should be one of your key takeaways, because the secondary markets, there's quite to be said about that. The key differentiator has been the use of dual NFTs for each physical retail item, elevating the level of transparency and customer interaction. Twigital boasts a patent related to photogrammetry, that's a mouthful, right? Services for creating digital twins. It includes specific details about recording information associated with physical objects, distributed ledgers, and minting NFTs. Even, you know, the ones that almost look like photorealistic, if you will. While their patent may not explicitly mention dual NFTs, their partnership with Hedera appears to have introduced elements similar to Safest Ministries project. Now, before we get more into this whole thing about Safest Ministries and so on, I want to take you to this whole conclusion on why it should matter for you. Because why it should matter for you, especially as a Hedera holder, is this creates something very, very unique, but built on Hedera. So look at this conclusion. As the situation unfolds, the tech world will be keeping a close eye on how Safest Ministries and Twizzle will navigate this potentially delicate issue of intellectual property. The question of whether or not a lawsuit is warranted is complex, and both companies appear committed to finding a resolution that respects the innovative spirit of the industry. But there's been this ever-evolving landscape where ideas can be interconnected. Yes, the boundary between inspiration and infringement may require nuanced interpretation. Yes. Regardless of the outcome, this situation serves as a reminder of the importance of protecting intellectual property while fostering an environment of innovation and ethical competition. What does it all mean? Basically means this. Protecting intellectual property could mean, for instance, like what you see here, where you have an exclusive patent for the particular technology. Having this particular patent teamed up with the likes of Hedera is very unique, and it creates a sense of supply and demand. As we know, basic NFTs, let's just basically call them like JPEGs and so on. The ones from 2020 to most of early this year, according to reports, 95% of them are basically worthless. But when you see the shift when it comes to utility-based NFTs and what they're tied into, that's a big deal. Having something that basically is going to, like it says here, protect the issue in regards to intellectual property is a very, very big deal. Having things that are verifiable on blockchain obviously is always a big deal. Everything tied into DLT, in this case, Hedera with the Hashgraph consensus protocol, the gossip protocol, I think also is a big deal. I always love to see guys from these particular unique projects teaming up and sharing their perspective with who else than Dr. Lehman Baird. I've always stated that. I always felt that Dr. Lehman Baird is probably like the smartest guy in all of DLT when you look more into his background and his lectures and so on and so forth. Getting into the last part about this that I want to talk about in regards to Twizzle. This is just my own notes and so on, if you're still following. In regards to Hedera is looking to accomplish a lot with Twizzle. True. And of course, like it said in regards to the digital twin tokenization engine, right, with Twizzle, the main 4 goals that you want to take away about this is, for one, making it easier to tokenize real world assets. Me and Will Fix are always talking about that. A lot of you guys are talking about that as well. Obviously, Gilbert Verdian talks about it all the time. So that's a key thing. Twizzle will make it possible to tokenize anything that can be represented digitally. That's a game changer. And it's not just digital. It's physical objects, intellectual property, even experiences. What kind of experiences? Well, last I checked, when you go on a vacation, isn't one of the main reasons why you go on a vacation is because, money, having money and materialistic things is one thing. But being able to go on a vacation, which, don't get me wrong, takes money, but to experience those things on that vacation, going to Italy, for instance, and seeing all that amazing, beautiful scenery or history is an experience. How would you like to be able to tokenize that experience? I think that's game changer. And why is that game changer? Now think about this for a second. The reason why it's game changer is for the same reasons that MySpace, as silly as that sounds, was game changer at the time, but they didn't innovate. Facebook did. Facebook basically took all those people from MySpace, right, and injected them into Facebook, right? I'll never forget jumping ship from MySpace. Does anybody even use MySpace anymore? Probably not. There's a lot of people still use Facebook, but we're now that older generation that uses it, right? Most people that use, the kids, they don't really use Facebook. So Facebook went out and bought Instagram, right? But the key thing is social media, getting our families together, interacting with them, sharing our experiences. Take Twigital, for instance, being able to tokenize anything, and especially when it comes to intellectual property, physical objects, and those experiences. That should be one of your key takeaways. Now, listen to this for a second. Are you aware that Twigital can create more efficient and transparent market for those specific tokenized assets? Now, you may be asking, how is that the case? The answer is through Hedera's public ledger technology that will basically provide a secure and transparent way to track ownership, transfer tokenized assets, and even help reduce fraud and make it easier for investors like you and me to evaluate and trade tokenized assets. Is that such a bad thing? That sounds cool. Two more key things I want to get into before we wrap up the segment. Empower businesses to create and innovate products and services. It's one thing to be like, hey, this is Twigital and it's so cool. But it's another to get other businesses involved, because that creates what? A thriving ecosystem. So Twigital will enable businesses to create new products and services that were not possible before. That's game changer. For instance, tokenized loyalty programs. Did you ever think about that? Supply chain tracking systems. We have thought about that, right? XDC and stuff like that. Predictive maintenance solutions. Back to the whole thing of digital twins, hence why they call it Twigital. Now, in regards to more adoption for Hedera, which is something we want to point out, there will be a drive for adoption on Hedera's public ledger for this particular tech. How so? Well, for one, Hedera hopes that Twigital will make its public ledger technology more attractive for, of course, businesses and, of course, devs. Like we point out in regards to Stellar with Sorbonne, being able to have devs come into your particular platform because it's easy to build on is simply like the way to go, all the way. And last, this could lead to increased adoption of Hedera's platform and help further grow its ecosystem. Now, for you guys that are holding Solana, nothing wrong with holding Solana. Do what you got to do. But what was one of the game changer things for Solana when it came to the last bull market? Solana was a lot more cheaper way and a lot more faster in regards to TPS to mint and get things going in regards to like NFTs. Big time. They stood out in regards to that particular time frame. Last bull market and so on. We saw Solana make a lot of millionaires, for instance. Your key takeaway should be that you have this thing with Twigital being teamed up with Hedera. This hits so much more than your just typical JPEG NFTs. This is game changer because it's physical, digital, and all these main things. But I want you to have the takeaway from all this be tokenized experiences, because if we can have any taste at all of taking something that was so, I don't know, game changer, if you will, from the likes of Facebook or Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff, and be able to tokenize that, how much will that be worth in the future? So that concludes tonight's coverage in regards to our Hedera. The next coverage that we're going to have is basically Jasmy. I'm going to get back into the comments. Thank you to whoever is here left at the hour and 38 mark here tonight. All right. Let me take out the branding in regards to the Reese's Pieces looking Hedera cup. Kind of looks like that, don't it? Hopefully you guys still have some leftover candy from Halloween. I'm sure you do. There's a problem, Max. It's called diabetes. Yes, I agree. All right. Let's get back into some of the comments that we have. I also want to recognize Mr. Elon Musk, Mike Cornwell. He has gifted 5 Maximus Crypto memberships. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that, Mr. Mike Cornwell. Let's see if you actually did gift that to anybody. I'll look at the other screen real quick. Let me take out this thing for Hedera. And yeah, let's see who that's from. All right, so maybe it was all right, yeah, I see now. Brian Dowie was gifted a membership by Elon Musk. I don't know if Brian Dowie is here. I wish Brian Dowie was here. Can we all agree we miss Brian Dowie? I really, really miss Brian Dowie. My hope and prayer is that Brian Dowie's okay wherever he's at. All I really mean that. I really, really miss that guy. Godspeed to Brian Dowie, wherever he's at. All right, let's see here. We have Z was gifted a membership by Elon Musk. Well, congratulations, Z. He was in the comments earlier. Shout out to Jeff Pruden. Congratulations. We have Live in Riches also gifted a membership by Elon Musk. And Michael Quartero was also gifted a membership by Elon Musk. And congratulations to Rich of Common Sense Crypto, who is apparently watching this as we speak. You have won a membership from Mike Cornwell, Common Sense Crypto. Oh my goodness, I'm kidding. That caught your attention, did it not? Yeah, I know, I'm joking. You're like, what? No, that didn't happen. We're always trying to see if he's secretly watching, right? All right, so I had to do it, Mike. I had to do it. All right, so basically speaking, we have X Gunva gifted a membership by Elon Musk. Very cool. Very, very cool. Thank you again, Mike Cornwell. Let's read a few more comments. Richie Rich says they got it at a movie theater. Really? Nice. I know some movie theaters, you have like like they have bars and stuff like that. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Jack Thompson, the Hbar coin, the effed up beyond all recognition coin. Interesting. Hey, dude, Goo, crypto XRP all the way. It's okay. I get fat thumbs too, man. And the struggle is real. It's all good. But welcome, Ross Hutton. Glad to have you here, man. Here's a little dab. Muff spreading the moist. Oh, geez. Okay, interesting. Exactly. I mean, I did send a DM to Brian Riley. He's just kind of going through some things right now. So at least he responded. He's alive and well, right? He's just kind of busy doing his own thing right now. Menelect, I haven't heard back from Menelect. I did send him a DM a while back. Same with Brian Dowie. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I definitely, especially like all his Jasmy tweets and stuff like that. And you come in here and you always have, great intellect for Mentelect. He's very well missed. Tim Shea, I get Hulk's memberships all the time when I'm on other streams. Oh, interesting. Hulk blocked you? And the Cool Cat Crypto again? That's funny. That's funny stuff. Mentelect went to Japan to help with Jasmy. That would be incredible. Anyway. All right. I never get these because time to time I don't agree with the cult leader and they don't like different opinions. Well, I welcome other opinions as long as the person's not rude, So, let's see here. Yeah. Just speculation. I hope they're both okay. Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, absolutely. Cool Cat Crypto Ahmed, did you tell Hulk to hit a cough drop for F's sake? I hope he did. All right, Rippled Lumen. Welcome, by the way. Here's a dab. My question is, yes, Hbar is useful for things like medical records or like the Chinese Navy mapping the ocean, but with it, but at this point in time, why invest in Hbar when XRP, XLM haven't realized yet? It's just preparing yourself more for the future. The way I look at it is, earlier we were given an example. We may didn't see it, but it was at the very beginning of the outline. We were talking about, hopefully I still have it. Yeah, Fedwire, right? Get the boost from ISO 222 and so on. So we talked about, for instance, numerous times in regards to not just Fedwire, but like FedNow, especially when it comes to Hedera. There's numerous things in regards to Hedera. My main thing is just preparing myself for not when just one thing goes to the moon and beyond, like XRP or Stellar, Quant, and so on, but even throwing some Hbar into it. I mean, I own all the ISOs. I think the only one I don't own, which I have to double check his ISO, is DEG. And I have nothing against DEG. It's just, but I get where you're coming from. I mean, to the guy we were talking about earlier, Brian Dowie, I mean, he made it clear that, he's just focused on like XRP and Stellar and so on. But, for me, they're all long-term holds anyway. But it's a legitimate question. All right, let's see here. You told him to stop wearing a tank top and he banned you for that? That's like somebody saying, "Hey Max, stop wearing a black shirt." I don't know. Stop wearing your black hat. Stop wearing a beard. Oh, I'm so offended. I'm gonna go ban everybody. I don't know. Anyway, Rippled Lumen Hbar will never move like XRP XLM. So at this point in time, why? You don't know that. But I respect your opinion. Cool Cat Crypto, tell him to get those freaking shoulders waxed for. Jeez, gosh, you guys. I can't tell him ish anymore. You're still laughing. That's funny. All right. You're actually blocked by him. I guess you and Mike Cornwell. All right. We'll read a few more comments and then we're going to get into the Jasmy coverage of the night. Yeah, I just can't watch him live anymore. But if he does a video, like, for what was the one, like Ripple China verified in was it 2017 or something way back, right? I can watch that stuff all day because I don't have to hear his ego and stuff like that. When he focuses on just the research at hand, he kills it. He's probably one of the best. Maybe most of us can agree on that. I don't know. Because he gets unique content. But, watching 3 hours of a guy stroking his ego, I'm good. All right. Anyway, let's see here. What else we got? Twitchdiddle's corny as F. Marketing does matter. Then you probably shouldn't get into Jasmy. If marketing matters to you, and it's like a big thing, it matters to everybody. Let's be honest. Probably you wouldn't like what's going on with Jasmy because Japan does not specialize in marketing. All right. Look at the XRP logo. You feel it in your soul. I have a bunch of XRP, man. I'm good. I just like to be well diversified. And is that such a bad thing? I don't think so. This kind of seems like a repeat of yesterday. So yesterday, Ripple Lumen, nothing against you, right? Welcome, by the way, okay? Even though it's a difference of opinion. We had a guy for BSV. And he was like, basically everything you're doing, but for BSV. And now today it's like XRP. It's kind of funny how it's working out 2 days in a row. My thing is just so what if we're investing in other stuff, Anyway, teach his own. All right, couple more comments, and we're kicking into the Jasmy coverage of the night. And let's see what we have. Let's check over on Will Fix side of things because we haven't checked the comments over there for a while. You are the one coming from his side of things, so that's cool. Let's see. If this all matters, why did Michael Jordan choose XRPL for his NFTs instead of Hbar? You won't ever see me in public talking about Twitch. Okay, fine. I mean, we'll probably never see your face either. I mean, it's okay. Tokenized data, yeah, that's XRP's job. Internet value, all right. Pound your chest XRP. Hey, I pound, my chest XRP too. I'm just not only going to pound my chest to only XRP. So, anyway, it is what it is. All right, let's get into Jasmy. Let's go ahead and before we do that, let's welcome the one and only $1.50 to Caspa, and he says yo to Tim. Good to see the one and only. Welcome back. Here's a dab, and what we're going to do now is get into that Jasmy coverage finally. So this will be the last part, I believe, of our coverage of the night. I'm just going to clear out some tabs real quick in the process of doing so. If you guys appreciate the coverage, please leave a thumbs up. If you don't appreciate coverage, you can hit thumbs down. It's okay. I'm not going to get all butthurt about it. All right, so just closing out a few things. Yes, let's get into the coverage about Jasmy. It comes from Icy Amphibian a little bit, and there's some other coverage, some of my own findings and so on. But, give Icy Amphibian your support if you're using X. And, yes, let's just pull some of this up. Put up some of the branding back on, right? All right. All right. So we're going to start off with this. Straight from Icy Amphibian. He talks about some of the key findings that he has here. So he says both claim 20 and description 27 in regards to patent preview number 2. Now, a few days ago, or maybe it was late last week, I can't remember, We did talk about some of these other patents. We talk about patents all the time when it comes to Jasmy. Let's just be real about that. Whether it's Tadashi Morita, whether it's Kazumasa Sato, you name it. When it comes to patents, Jasmy really, really stands out and is, like I always say, is that such a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. It's an awesome thing. So IC Amphibian has pointed out this particular patent preview, number 2, both claim 20 and description 27 provide important solutions for expanding Jasmy onto different devices into different regions. This is good because we want to see more of that mass adoption. We want to see them always stand out in regards to IoT, but it's one thing to have the utility. You got to get mass adoption. No kidding, right? So let's blow this up a little bit bigger so you can see it if you're on your couch or wherever the case be. It says claim 20. It is a program installed in a terminal unit. A terminal device, basically speaking, is installed, comprising the memory storage function, which memorizes the first individual specific information, an operation function, and inputting second person identifying information. I remember this. This was also cited from, was it Justia, right? In all those patents. Here's the highlight in regards to some of this, right? So you see this right here. It says an operational function for inputting second person identifying information. I mean, if you think about it, like this is outlining what's in a PDL, personal data locker. That is associated with first person identifying information stored in a storage function. That has a lower identifiability than the first person identifying information. I know it sounds technical. On the bottom, it says the described claims are a program that are installed on a mobile device. Remember how we're talking about the super Walt and whatnot, trying to scale up to this layer 2 solution on optimism and so on. Right. But more about this mobile device. It says, including the memory function to store critical personal data, operation function for sharing shareable personal data with other devices in the network. Now, if you wonder if does it specifically mention Jasmy, it does. This sounds like software-defined storage SDS, downloading Jasmy software, of course, onto your device. That is utility in motion, and especially if we have that combined with certain transactions from the DD token, the data democratization token. What about other ones in the future with the pairings of Japanese yen denominated stablecoins? So all these things are coming up. Perfect timing, in my opinion, to do the V2 because we're going to go to a new scaling solution, that particular layer 2. Now, IC Amphibian has a little bit more in regards to this, and I'll pull up the other page. So let's get it to page 2. And in the process of doing so, here it is. Just double check to see if it's nice and big on your screen. It is. So it talks about this illustrated, what was illustrated in figure 1. It says the data processing system according to the present embodiment. Now, some of this sounds like a little Greek to you, but it gets into the nitty gritty of the actual function about all this. So it talks about this apparatus. I won't get into all this, but the bottom part says data processing system includes all devices and servers in the network. Servers can be single or multiple devices, and if multiple, they can be spread across different physical locations with different owners. Your key takeaway should be, will the personal data locker work with other systems? The answer is yes. How so? We have a patent for that. So that's a good thing. You want to see, kind of like what Gilbert Verdian was talking about with Quant, you don't want siloed, or you don't want silos, you don't want walled gardens. It needs to be what, guys? Interoperable. Now, jumping back a little bit to more about the research, I do like this, this statement, it's like Jasmy in the graph or whatever. This is from another guy, but I do like what he stated here. It says data is going to $1 trillion industry. I do hold the graph as well. Some of you guys hold the graph. The quick thing about graph is always basically indexing protocol. This is why they call it the Google crypto. But for the purposes of what we're doing, Jasmy, like he says, data is going to $1 trillion industry. Graph knows that. Who else will be part of that? Jasmy understands that as well. Now, what I want to share with you is this from 279. And before I load that up, I'm going to check a couple notes. And basically speaking, you have to keep in mind that when we did the coverage in regards to Jasmy, Bifrost, remember all that stuff? Well, in regards to all this, we can't forget that Bifrost, in regards to Jasmy, is utilizing the multi-chain EVM. And we talk about multiple things with EVMs. We talk about it with Ripple's XRP, you name it, quite a few things. There's ZK EVM with Polygon, excuse me. But in regards to BFC, the other day we talked about this. So this is kind of like a continuation. But BFC is basically it's not the Bifrost on Polkadot, right? That's BNC. Some people kind of confuse that. I might have confused that, so I apologize. But basically speaking, we start off with a conversation with Bifrost. Bifrost in itself, BFC, is designed with aspects, of course, from Polkadot and Cosmos. So if you guys remember that coverage we had, I just want to clarify that with you. But it's not that different, okay? That's the main thing. Now, let's jump into 279's coverage. It's been a while since we cited 279. I want to share this with you. So 279 has this, and it's kind of like a continuation elaborating on what we already shared from IC Amphibian. He says, at last, the moment eagerly anticipated by all the skeptics has arrived. This is big for you as a Jasmy holder. For one, you have to keep in mind that we have this coverage that was mentioned earlier today from IC Amphibian. And then on top of that, we now have new coverage. So it's a nice little flow between IC and 279. Please give them both a follow. You can follow Jasmy Promoter at Jasmy Promoter for 279. So, yes, sneak peek into Jasmy's tech and how it enriches lives. Let's blow this up. This is from Hbar. This was, I guess you could say, yesterday. But the key thing is a lot of us, in the time difference, now seeing it. Hbar mentions we will be exhibiting with our partner Transcosmos. We know that's a long time partner. I think Dingy mentioned something in regards to Transcosmos. Some of your complaint about, you're like, how is this utility motion if it's just a bunch of fiat being used? Okay, I'm with you. All right. So we have talked about Resort Tech, about how it's going to be showcased, this particular conference, if you will, in Okinawa. It's going to basically happen on the 9th and 10th. Let's face it, that's coming up here soon. And Japan time. So basically some point tomorrow with the time difference, if you will. So Thursday and Friday of this week, he states we'll be able to showcase our patented technology. Again, back to everything that IC Amphibian was talking about. So this is cool. Everything he's talking about, and give us a little preview. They're going to showcase it at this actual event. That is cool. And also it's going to show the mechanism of not having customer data received by contact centers. So what's your key takeaway? Your key takeaway is finally they're displaying how this all comes about with the personal data locker. We talk about utility in motion. You're going to see a showcase of just that utility in motion, how the PDL actually works by showing examples in front of quite a few other people at this particular conference. Awesome. One thing to talk about it, be about it, right? This is also the starting point for their particular blockchain development over at Resort Tech, Expo, which is in Okinawa. I want to take you to that. Of course, NeoXTrix is thanking him for that. And basically speaking, here it is. This is Resort Tech Expo 2023. I'm gonna get into some of the highlights about this. So yeah, let's go ahead and blow this up a little bit for you can see it easily from your couch, phone, wherever you're using. So this will be updated from time to time, but there is a lot of, I guess you could say, Japanese industry leaders that are here. Well, some of these I don't know about, but I do know about Recruit, okay, in Okinawa, excuse me. Catholic's Cloud Rental Car. I mean, when we talk about Jasmy, when it comes to some of their, was it the Web3 cloud solutions they have? Well, when I'm thinking about some of these like autonomous vehicles for the future and so on, it would make sense that Kflix Cloud might want to use some of Jasmy's tech for the bigger picture, Society 5.0 and so on. And for one, think about this, for instance, you have the Japanese version of Uber, right? Or Lyft, what do you want to call it nowadays? There's both. I get that. And basically, it could be like, Jasmy accepted here. And, why would somebody want to use Jasmy for a rideshare program? Well, why wouldn't they? That actually would make perfect sense. Because for one, they will be able to contribute to the local society, right? It empowers the economy. And then on top of that, they get to protect their own personal data in a ride sharing platform, like you don't want to share that with the public. So that would make sense to be with that. So you better believe these other particular, companies, they could rub elbows with someone. We've seen this in the past already, with the Care Project and so on. How about even with Ripple, with IVS Crypto 2023, Diamond sponsor. Jasmy was able to attend that. So that was super cool. Some of these other ones that we want to point out, right? There's Aqua. There's Jasmine Soft. That's not Jasmy. I know some people call Jasmine. Not the same thing. Transcosmos, obviously there. There's some ones from the government that are the Japanese government that are there. That is super cool. Mitsui Information, we talked about them. Let's go further down. Hitachi is going to be there. So there's a lot of big names that are going to obviously be there. International Systems Development. How about WITS, called WITS? We know that they have that partnership directly with Jasmy. So that's cool. And that's a subsidiary that works, for instance, with Toyota for the Internet of Things. So you have that plug. You have that connect. Just going to highlight a few more. Getting into some of this, all right? But here's the one about local government. Look at this for a second, guys. Let me blow this up just a tad bit more. So local government, regional revitalization zone. You have Allen Consortium, Aqua Local Area Network, Trust Communication, Okinawa Cellular Telephone. Remember we gave that example of VocalLink in the past? I mean, that was for Europe. What about Jasmy's plug into Japan for telecommunications? That's a big deal as well. All right, let's go look at a few more. I'm just trying to see the ones that kind of might, stand out, the ones I remember. Hewlett Packard. Who doesn't know about Hewlett Packard, even over here in the United States, right? So they will be there. Kyoto, right? Even the tourism industry, we know that Jasmy has a few key partnerships in regards to that. Here's NEC. My first monitor I ever had was NEC. Anyway, there's just a lot that's here. Okay. And that's one of the main things I want you to take away. I will highlight this. SoftBank. We talk about Jasmy and SoftBank all the time. So that's really cool that they're going to be at this particular expo. All right. So check it out more if you choose to do so. You can go to resorttech-expo.okinawa and take it to the next particular page. I want to share this. I've gone ahead and interpreted this. This comes from this guy named SD. The interpretation gives you an example of what I was talking about with you, Dingy, if you're still watching. If you're not, you watch the replay. It's in regards to this Jasmy platform. All right. So VIO, IoT. All right. Look at this for a second. He says, we live in an era where personal information is given value. Wouldn't you be happy if the personal information you previously provided for free had value? Right. That's why we're talking about those examples earlier about GAFA, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, right? Giving away your data freely. You think it's free, but it's actually came at a price. It's your data. And they're basically capitalizing on that data. Some of that data is worth only a few cents. Some of that data is worth, a few dollars, maybe thousands of dollars. It just depends on the data. But this guy is right, for free. And it, does it have value? Yeah. It's up to you whether you want to add value to your personal information or not. A part of Jasmy platform roughly looks like this. Let's give you an example of utility in motion and how that looks like. I would imagine at this particular expo that's coming up on Thursday and Friday, Jasmy will be giving examples on how this all works. So let's give you a 15-second demo on how this looks. Check it out. Stop overthinking this, right? Look at this. So see how that, we just talked about GAFA, big data. Look, for instance, your personal data locker. You take power back. It's literally the decentralization of a data marketplace. As we know, Jasmy's entering into that. Jasmy definitely stands out in regards to that. You know, we look at some of these other platforms, right? For instance, Twitter, now known as X, they have data privacy problems big time, especially when it comes to Japan. Japan is either the second or third largest market. I'm not talking to the choir here, but that isn't something that none of us should dismiss. There's a visualization. All right, getting more into this. Let's take you over to this latest post from the one and only Neo X Tricks. So Neo tags Observer 247, okay? And basically speaking, he says this is why Jasmy wants legal regulation for Japanese yen denominated stablecoins. He just said denominated. I'll just say it for him. I've been talking about this forever, maybe to the point where I'm blue in the face. Maybe you guys are tired of talking to me about it, or me talking about it. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's a big deal, especially entering into 2024. You have these examples here. It says, for instance, all things make sense, so that is what it's about. The partnership with Cross Digital Innovation, Jasmy, with the aim of creating neobank, etc. Patented JPY D Consortium for Digital Money, etc., etc. Jasmy's still the magic behind it. Look at this for a second. I'll blow it up even more on the other screen. All right. So here it says, at our company, we safely manage user information for our FP consultation services, etc. Remember a few months back when Jasmy talked about entering consultation services? Yeah. And with the consent of the individual, includes information necessary for FP consultation as well as salary. We are developing services that also take into account the use of data, and through this initiative with Jasmy, boom, point blank, we plan to improve the value of our customers' data, developing neobank services. So I'm just going to be blunt and honest about this. For all the naysayers are still saying Jasmy is no way working with, for instance, even the local banks of Japan. Look more into it yourself. Stop dismissing the information that's presented and just looking at a thumbnail because you're too lazy to watch an actual video. I'm not saying you guys specifically, but there's a lot of people who do that, and I see it all the time. I can always see it a mile away when somebody just sees my thumbnail and they don't look at the information. Look more into the information. Go to actually some of these ones. See it for yourself. So it talks about, obviously the whole thing of the initiative with Jasmy, developing neobank services. We obviously talked about SoftBank with Jasmy services and Bajit and all this bigger picture. Through this demonstration experiment, we will develop our business with the goal of responding to digital money payment of salaries and developing new neobank services that return the value of customer information to each individual. Are you not paying attention to this? Because that right there is the perfect example of Jasmy paired up with what? An actual local bank. Oh, isn't that a pairing? Yes, that's a pairing. Interesting, Max. Yes, very interesting. Why so much? Because that's proof in the pudding of utility being used in motion, because it accesses the personal data locker. It literally says it right there for you. Return the value, customer information to each individual. Each individual that has what? A PDL. Now multiply that times not just thousands of people, millions of people. What about Jasmy taking this thing worldwide? We're already starting to see that. Know what you hold. Know why you hold it. Don't let any fudder, shake you out of your Jasmy. Just do the research and stand by your research. That's all you got to do. Now, where was this introduced? Well, from Cross Digital Innovation. Trade name is Cross Digital Innovation Co. Limited. Look it up for yourself. You can have an address, 12th floor, Tokyo Land Corporation. If you choose to nerd it out a little bit more, you can. Let's see here. Do we have a little bit more in regards to this? Yes, we do. Give me a second to pull that up. And actually, let's jump back to this expo. Excuse me. So just a second. If you want to look at this particular expo, you have to keep in mind it is. Got this URL earlier, so it's in the comments. I did mention the URL earlier verbatim. It's at resorttech expo.okinawa/exhibitor. And one of the key things is basically everything that we just covered. Talks about Kyoto Smart City. I mean, the key thing is this, right? Exhibiting companies. Yeah, this is the point I was trying to make earlier. So I kind of got ahead of myself. You have, for instance, this right here. Look what it says, guy. I'll highlight it. I guess it won't let me. There we go. It's kind of highlighted. Kyoto Smart City Expo 2023. So for some of the naysayers are like, this whole thing about Jasmy and Society 5.0 and the smart cities is just a bunch of hogwash. It's just a bunch of pie in the sky. We could sure as the heck fool me. Boom, Kyoto Smart City Expo 2023, right? Why would they want to show up to something like this? Because all of these guys are part of the bigger picture. Just because you don't see that narrative here in the United States, you don't believe in that narrative, understand different cultures, different narratives, different tech. Because you don't see it in the United States doesn't mean they don't exist. How about this? KTech 2023 Tours Society 5.0 official website. Consistently, every single one of these all are part of a bigger picture, you guys. I'm not just saying it because I'm saying it. It sounds cool. No. Dig more deeper into it. You will see that this is an actual thing. And I feel as though it is a big deal. And it is worth pointing out. Because it just shows, kind of like back to the analogy about, when you watch a movie, a Marvel movie and so on. There's thousands of people, hundreds of different companies, maybe even thousands, I don't know, that are part of the credits for all trying to obtain one goal, or they actually, achieved one goal, making a motion picture. All these guys you see laid out, all these partnerships that Jasmy has, all these guys that they're working with in the background, all part of the same goal, Society 5.0. And I won't stop saying it, and I'll keep saying it over and over. That concludes the Jasmy coverage of the night. Big shout out to 279, Neo X Tricks, Icy, Amphibian, anybody else that I left off the list. I apologize, but glad to bring it to you guys, because that's an event coming up real soon. Yeah, I do real big deep dives on other things, but sometimes we got to find out what's going on in the now, and that's what's going on now. All right. Yes, let's jump into the comments. We're going to read the last bit, and then after that, we're probably going to wrap things up. Let's see what we have. So I want to check what we have in the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me check both screens real quick. I think we're good. Let's welcome Yamaha Pacifica. Rue Black is in the house. Good to see you, man. Boom. Let's check out the other screen. All right. All right. So let's see here. Trying to catch up on the comments. There's a lot of good comments. Let me take out the branding for the Jasmy coverage. All right. $8:38. T Lynn says we're here. Thank you for that. All right. Let's see here. Boomer Rapid Sooner. When I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia, my favorite place for burgers was Hot and Now. That sounds good, actually. You're making me hungry. All right, Rue Black. LOL. What up, Max and crew? Good to see your brother Rue. Give him a follow over at Black Rue, all one word. You can be followed on Twitter and YouTube at the same name. Good to see you, Rue. Like I said, we will get back on the show at some particular point. When I'm convinced that I will be able to not have a non-volatile schedule. Anyway. You just see Riley on X. So that's good. At least he's starting to break back into it. I had rallies like last week, and I don't know, man. The only thing that was good was the fries. Amazing fries. Every time I get something else other than the fries, it just wasn't that good. But I'm only giving it another try. Exactly. The fries. That's what stands out, But my thing is they put the same grease in everything, which I guess makes sense. But it's like I don't need my mozzarella sticks to taste like this funky tasting grease. I don't need my burger to taste like, I don't know. It just sometimes the grease is just a little too heavy, man. That's what makes it wonderful, Max. I don't know. If you're a fan of the grease, then you're a fan of the grease. Let's welcome Magic Power. Good to see you, man. Hello, guten Tag. Sie Dichtenstein Exchange. Jasmy with the Race Crop Consortium in the house. Good to see you, man. Boom. Yeah, some French fries are good. I love steak fries, man. Steak fries or crinkle cut fries with some ranch. You know, like Red Robin's got some good ranch. You know, another place that has good ranch is Denny's. And then if you're gonna buy the ones from the grocery store, Hidden Valley Ranch is good. Yeah. One only. I missed the old recipe KFC crunchy chicken sandwich. That was good. I did like that. I also like the one where they had a like a chicken sandwich, but instead of having like a bun, it was actually like a chicken breast. You know, you remember that? And then they had bacon wrapped around it or something like that. It was just like, I don't know. There was something in the middle. I forgot what it was, but that was really good. It was probably like $5 or $6 a sandwich, but it was worth it. It was very hearty. All right. You don't have rallies in Oklahoma or checkers. Interesting. Huh. All right. T Lens, Maximus Crypto. Thanks for all the timestamps when you can. Last night I did timestamps. So check it out, Tia. Just giving you a heads up real quick. So I was so tired last night. I was dead tired. And I was like, I got to put the timestamps because there's going to be people, you know, wanting to watch that. And, you know, it makes sense. So I was doing it. And then I woke up like 2 hours later. I fell asleep at the computer. And I was still doing the timestamps. And I was like, I got to get this done with. I got to go to bed. Anyway, I woke up. It was like 1 a.m. or something like that. And I was like, oh, my gosh, man. You got to hit the submit thing. So anyway, I will get timestamps, but I won't be falling asleep this time. It's just because my aunt and uncle came from Oregon out of the blue. And I was just, you know, what I'm going to say, tell them, you know, hey, I'm tired. I'm not going to go. Like, come on. I'm not going to do that. I love them. They're awesome. It was so nice to be able to see actual family in person and see my dad. And he was so happy to see them. And it was just yesterday was an awesome day, even though I was tired. It was really, really cool. And my dad is a lot better. It's just so thankful that he's doing okay. It's hard to see like your parent with like from a stroke having the droop and all that. And he didn't have it. It was straight across, and he was able to make his sentences clear and whatnot. But I mean, he's still got a big road ahead on recovery, but it was a scary time. It was October 22nd in the evening, and getting that news that your dad has a 50-50 chance. I was just like, I can't believe it. Normally, you know, healthcare professionals, they never give a percentage, because what happened is they said that, you know, either this thing will work on your dad, and if it doesn't, then it could be fatal. So I said, so basically you give my dad a 50-50 chance. I was like, you know, the nurse was like, yeah, basically. I was like, oh my God. And then, you know, called my buddy and we went down there immediately. But anyway, just he just doesn't need to have any more falls. He doesn't need to have that was his first stroke in his life. He's 89. He's a tough old guy. All right, let's go further down the comments. Corey Bibe, aka Jasmy not a scam. The one you have tried Popeye's chicken sandwich. I love Popeye's chicken sandwiches. They're good. I also like, you know, Chick-fil-A, but anyway. Yeah, Popeyes is pretty good on that. And the nice thing is, you know, one thing that sucks about going to chicken houses, unless it's like KFC, for KFC, you're pretty much always going to get the chicken fresh. Let's be honest about that. But if you go like the churches, you got to go there when it's fresh. Go to Popeyes, you got to go there when it's fresh. How do you know that? Well, for me, I just tell them flat out, hey, I want to get some fresh chicken. I'm willing to wait. So as a result, I have to wait like sometimes 20, 40 minutes. Some locations allows you to call it in advance. Some don't. But if you want a fresh chicken sandwich, they always make it fresh. Every location I noticed, they always mention, hey, it's always going to be fresh. And it is. I've never had one that was dried out. So that's cool. All right. Everyone is hungry now. Yeah, we're all hungry now. We're, you know, speaking of hungry, this guy, I saw that little post you made on X, my friend, about how you said something about When we're all future millionaires, you and I are going to go to, was it the Honey Kettle Chicken in LA? I'm holding you to that. I'm not joking with you about that. I know I need to give you a call on the phone. I will give you a call on the phone. It's just been a lot of crazy things have been happening lately, my friends. So I'm not BSing you. Looking forward to it. We do need to get together, and do something that'd be cool. All right. All right, let's see. You guys still talking about food? Yeah, you guys, a lot of hungry crowd here tonight. Yeah, Max, end the show for we can go eat. All right, well, I will in a second. Who has the best chicken nuggets? I'm gonna say like I still like McDonald's chicken nuggets because they're kind of crispy if they're fresh. I also like Wendy's. Wendy's has the honey mustard. I always like their honey mustard. I don't like honey mustard, but I like their honey mustard. Yep, Wendy's. That's cool, Boomer. All right. I do like Godfather's pizza. Anyway, God, you guys are making me so hungry. Anyway, let's welcome back Cheryl Wheeling. She's saying hello to Boomer. Interesting. Oh, that's right. Because okay, I'm sorry. Fellow Oklahoma person. That's right. The other day. My bad. I was thinking that you guys were friends or something like that. But that's right. The other day. GG, good to see you again. Will sounds like he's about to do something for a cheeseburger. I'm gonna move along there. All right, let's see here. Interesting. Burritos all the way. Yeah, I kind of wear those out sometimes. So I haven't had a burrito in a couple weeks, but I'm sure I'll get the craving again. All right, let's read this from Boomer. I remember hitting up the Taco Bell on base with like $10 and I have 2 bags of food for the 12-hour mid. Interesting. That was back in 92. I remember 92 very well, even though I was only like 11 years old. What really stood out for me was a few things. Obviously, for basketball, the Dream Team. I had Clyde Drexler's jersey. I believe at that time, I think it was number 10 for that. And then on top of it, the LA riots. Yeah, it was some crazy stuff. But listening to like hip hop, all that stuff. Anyway, HTN. Hello, gents. Nice looking price moment for Jasmy the past few days. When do you think about all-time highs? All-time highs. So all-time highs is basically, $5 because I think previous is $4.99. It's going to take a few years to get to that, to $5. Now, as far as a minimum of a buck, maybe like 2025, I think that happens. It could very well happen when we smash all-time highs in late 2025. It could actually also happen by maybe late 2024. It just depends. I mean, I've always pointed out that I felt as though that when it comes to Jasmy, it's the one that kind of gets to the promised land first. How about this for size? Here's a little curveball for you, HTN. By the way, good to see you. We talk about the promised land first. BSV. This COPPA case. I know some of you guys don't agree with this, but if this guy is the real Satoshi, say what you want. Don't you think that would be first? Yeah, I think it would be. But in regards to Jasmy, yeah, I still see like a minimum of a buck. I mean, come on, guys. How about this? In a bear market, bull market, in a bear crypto winter, whatever you want to call it, we saw 0.8 of a penny before freaking Binance did that Binance US Innovation Zone stuff. I mean, that was solid momentum. All right. What about getting actually into the height of a bull market? So I think we're going to be more than good. Can we state this for a second? Is there a single person here that still feels as though Jasmy does not run in correlation with BTC and ETH? I'm just being honest. Because all you got to do is look at those charts. I'm not a big chart guy, but that's basic stuff. Look at it. When BTC and ETH are going wild, then Jasmy basically runs a correlation with that. So if some people are like, yeah, BTC should be, well past its previous all-time highs of 69K on 11/11/2021, it goes well past 100K or higher, then you know what? Even if a person didn't do any of their own research, what do you think that's going to do for Jasmy? And then what about Ethereum? If Ethereum went up to previous all-time highs as well, again, What do you think that's going to do for Jasmy? I'm just being honest. If it runs in correlation and these go to those two, right, that control 80 to 81% of the overall crypto market, go up to previous all-time highs, what do you think that's going to do for this asset that you hold of Jasmy? I mean, that right there is a big deal. I don't know if enough people are talking about that. Good to see you, though, HTN. Always appreciate you. Good to see you. I'm glad that you found the channel, too. It must have been, I don't know. But then again, you follow me on Twitter, so I guess that was pretty easy. So thank you for following me on Twitter. All right. Or X, whatever you want to call it. The one only says the good old Taco Bell, aka Taco Smell. Last time I had spent $226 and ate it for 2 days. Oh, geez. Here's the thing. I don't like it when we get leftover Taco Bell and it has the lettuce in it, because that lettuce, like, as you guys know, I mean, it just gets all soggy and lettuce goes bad really quick. But I guess you're getting $126. It don't matter. I don't know. Anyway. Let's go. Jasmy, not to scam. Yes. I always love it when you're here, Corey Bibe. You give me an excuse to say it. $126 to Taco Bell, you might get like 2 ounces of meat. That's that's true, huh? This was like 6 years ago in my okay. You get the munchies. Yeah, interesting. All right, let's read this from Cool Cat Crypto. My preferred Danelle's breast motion rather. Old Max needs to read the comments sometimes. That's okay, Cool Cat. Glad you're having fun. I mean, she is an attractive older woman. Probably wouldn't pass on that, but she's a married woman. You guys got some interesting stuff going on. That's funny. For the record, I just want to state this. I was never the type of teacher to be like, shame on you. What are you drawing in class? Nah. Mr. Stanley was not a prude when it came to that stuff in class. So, all right. Data locker. Okay, let's see if you guys got any specific questions, comments. If not, we're going to wrap it up here real soon. Elias Villela. Don't forget XTC will capture 80% of global trade. Yeah, normally we have all these things tagged and so on. But yeah, we do cover XTC quite a bit. And thank you for being here. And if you are truly, let's see what it says. You are proud to be a veteran. Oh, awesome. Happy Veterans Day to you, sir. Thank you so much for your service. If you want to, share what branch you served, we really do appreciate it. Thanks to all the people that served in the past. Boomer F and Sooner, Navy, some of you guys, Army. Will Fix, say that he was, Army. My dad served for 8 years back in 1953 to 1960. He was one of the lucky ones. He got deployed to Korea, and then basically right during the time they got deployed, the war ended and they canceled the whole thing. So he's lucky. He never feared the North Koreans or the Chinese. His main thing was freezing to death. That's what scared him the most. It was freezing to death. Which, I mean, who wants to freeze to death, right? Right. All right, let's see here. Whataburger honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, so good. I'll have to try that one. The last time I had Whataburger, Boomer, it was meh. I was really disappointed. A&W, yeah, they're good too. Does Eastgate vanish now? You know what? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe we should revisit that. Michael Henderson, thank you. Yeah, it's just the lettuce. It's just like, who heats up lettuce? Is not meant to be heated up. You know what I mean? Can we all agree on that? It's like a cold food item. You shred it up, or I'm not a big fan of romaine. I know it's better for me, but iceberg to me on a burger just is so much better. Anyway. Hey, very welcome. Good to see you, Calvin the Fifth. We should have you and Mr. Calvin with the T6 glider do a little, epic crypto battles of history. Calvin the Fifth versus Calvin with the T6 glider. Begin. I haven't watched epic rap battles of history in a long time. Anyway. All right, Korean barbecue. Yeah, I had that a couple weeks ago. It was good. Very, very good. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Hey, guys, it's been a good show. We went about 2.5 hours, so had a good balance. With that said, old Max is going to have, I'm going to have some Vietnamese soup. Pho. I think HTM would be proud to hear that. So, with that said, please smash the like on your way out. Please make sure that you are subscribed to both myself and also Will Fix. You can follow Will Fix over on the X platform. He could be followed over at Will Fix 7. And then, of course, I could be followed over at DPG Maximus. Tomorrow's show might very well include some more BSV. Going to try to give you guys some XDC if I can find some good news on some of that stuff. I do want to find some Casper for tomorrow. It's been a while since we covered some Casper. I do have a little bit of maybe some Jasmy possibly. I might also do some QT, but I do want to focus on some XDC, Casper, and some BSV. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. And I do appreciate you guys. Have a great night and sayonara from the Rice Crop Consortium. Let's go. Let's go. Bye-bye.